in its entirety by China through what it calls the 9-dash line. This includes territorial claims by other countries in the region. China has over time militarized many low-lying islands and coral reefs here. But 5 years ago today, an international court effectively ruled Chinese claims were illegal, particularly over this part, Scarborough Shoal, a low-lying rocky outcrop that falls within the Philippines' territory, according.
Catching fishes like this in the Scarborough Shoal has become increasingly difficult. Internationally, these Filipinos' rights to fish here are recognized. But the fishermen say Chinese coast guards have been chasing and harassing them in the past years, threatening their livelihood. The problem here is that in our own fishing territory, we are the ones who are pushed away. We feel that it's as if we are the thieves in our own area because the Chinese Coast Guard doesn't allow us here. That's because Beijing never recognized a 2016 ruling by the Hague's Permanent Court of Arbitration. It ruled that China had violated the Philippines' territorial integrity in parts of the South China Sea. A significant ruling given that China claims almost all the waters in the region. The islands in the South China Sea have long been China's territory. They are the legacy of our ancestors, and we can't afford to lose a single inch of them. But the Philippines also claims parts of the resource-rich area. So does Taiwan, Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam. This decades-long conflict has always been a flashpoint in the region. Tension has increased at times since 2013 as China started building and militarizing artificial islands in the South China Sea, prompting protests like this one in Manila. But the government's position has been less clear, alternating between rhetoric and restraint.
Let us be friends, but do not touch Pag-asa Island and the rest. Otherwise, things would be different.
But the fishermen aren't convinced. They say the country made too little pushback against Beijing while seeking investment opportunities. Their wish is very simple: take action so they can fish freely in the shoal again.
Of Nasiriyah, the Prime Minister has ordered the suspension and arrest of a number of people, including the hospital manager.
The dead laid outside Al Hussein Hospital in Nasiriyah. Some have been identified, others have not, as anxious people continue their search for loved ones. This just the latest disaster to hit Iraq. The catastrophe that occurred tonight is a tragedy, and I'm speechless. It looks like Iraq again has to suffer anguish and calamities. The fires swept through a new ward treating more than 60 people for COVID-19. It's still unclear how it started. Some officials claim an oxygen tank exploded, while others point to an electrical short circuit. Whatever the cause, the damage is plain for all to see. Medical staff continue to treat the survivors, but questions are already being asked. This is the second time this year a fire has killed coronavirus patients at an Iraqi hospital. People here are angry and want to know why.
In the last 12 hours. So more are expected to come out of the rubble in charred corpses.
So, any more indications of what exactly may have been the cause there?
Yeah, our sources have told us that it was started with an explosion of an oxygen canister, and it really is a lethal mix with the heat wave, electricity cuts, which are rampant in this time of the year, and faulty wiring, all contributes to this lethal cocktail where an explosion just kills so many people instantly.
But Farid, we saw a similar fire and explosion at a hospital in April already.
In October, and really his political capital is on the line. He had ordered at the time that all fire systems, electrical systems, or all safety measures across all of Iraq's hospitals, not just Baghdad, be checked upon and regularly maintained. That clearly hasn't happened in this case. For a COVID patient to go in and to come out dead is really a calamity that embodies what's happening in Iraq at the moment.